Hi, it's Katie with tip number 5 on what to do if you've been diagnosed with breast cancer. So the big question often is, do I get a lumpectomy or a mastectomy? Now here again, I can't really give you advice unless I knew your exact situation because every breast cancer is different. But some of the things you want to think about is where the breast cancer is located in the breast, how much of the breast is affected, right? Because sometimes you really don't have a choice, right? If it's just not even feasible to remove part of it versus removing the whole breast. But you also want to think about things like, let's say you need to remove one breast and then you need to decide, do I remove the other breast? Well, if the breast is entirely healthy, you definitely want to pause there and think about it. But if you have signs already, like in my first case, I had DCIS in both breasts, then what you really have to think about is, do I want to have sort of a ticking time bomb on the other side? Do I want to worry about it? Like if you're going to have a mastectomy on one side, you know, then you have issues of the breasts won't match. And you know, you always are going to have that maybe nagging fear in your head of, ooh, is the shoe going to drop on the other side and I'm going to end up with breast cancer again? For me, it was a very hard decision because I didn't want to remove either of my breasts, but it really came down to, did I want to go through this more than once? And the resounding answer was no. I kind of wanted to take care of it and be done with it and move on with my life. Now, fast forward to 8 years later, as you know, I just had a lumpectomy recently. So, and people might ask, well, would this have changed your decision? Well, again, you can never look back and say, oh, you always do the best thing you do at the time. And clearly I made the right decision at the time that I made it. So, but I also know some more information now, like, you know, that lumpectomy would have been possible on one side, for instance, and I guess I just never thought I had the option to deny chemo and radiation. So one of the reasons people do opt for a mastectomy is if it's an early enough stage and the lymph nodes aren't involved, you can actually forego chemo and radiation a lot of times, and sometimes that alone will tip you over the edge and say, oh, I'd rather do a mastectomy so then I don't have to do those other toxic treatments. But nowadays, you know, like I just had a mastectomy and I decided not to go with those treatments. So it's always possible to go the natural route. You don't feel like you have to do one way or the other way just because of what you want to do next. It's all possible. Any combination of treatments is possible. But again, so that's why I say it's very individual as to which one's better. But the statistics will tell you that it's not necessarily better or more important to do a mastectomy over a lumpectomy. If it's small enough and it hasn't spread to the lymph nodes and whatnot, often a lumpectomy is all you need to do. And honestly, if you can go that course, I would recommend it because having done both, huge difference, right? A lumpectomy in relationship to when comparing it to a mastectomy is a walk in the park. It's so much easier. It's so much less invasive. It's much quicker recovery time. You may not even have to go through multiple stages of reconstruction, et cetera, et cetera. So definitely it's an individual situation, and I'd love to be able to help you out more and work with you on your case. But just know there's no one right answer, and what you really need to do is get with someone who can give you all the pros and cons in each category, and you figure it out, and then you go with what works for you and know that you're making the best decision for what's best for your body and your life. Talk to you soon.